the tanks were coming, we retreat off to the sides and away, and the tanks come right on down the path, and that's where the howitzers get them.
Now, when does a howitzer fire a straight trajectory? Do they fire up and down?
No, it's just,
they're going right at them.
yeah.
And it's able to penetrate. Were you able to see that happen?
I have seen strikes
Mm-hmm.
and people trying to come out of the tank and get mowed down or on fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened. That's been that close to it.
You've been that close to it.
Yeah.
Of these German tanks. And do the tanks look like, what kind of tanks were they?
Generally the Panzer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest and the best. The saying is it takes 5 Shermans to equal 1 Panzer. That's how much better the Panzer was than the Sherman. Sherman was fast, little, small, mobile,
Yep.
and the Panzer was big, rough, rugged, and strong.
When the tanks come, when you see these German tanks that are coming, are they coming down a main road? Is that what they are?
They might be coming across the field.
Across the field?
It depends on what's available to them.
And that they can just do it. They're coming across the field. Do they have soldiers with them? Do they have infantry with them?
Most cases there'll be infantry coming behind them.
Can you see them?
Yeah.
You can see them.
Yeah.
Are they camouflaged?
No.
What color is the uniform?
Speaking of camouflage, the Germans first came out with the idea of having a white suit. And that was the Germans' idea, and we copycatted it.
Did it work?
But I didn't.
You didn't have it? You could see them coming? You could see the infantry? The German infantry guys?
Well, it depends. You know they're out there, though.
Yeah.
But I don't remember seeing a tank with infantry behind them.
But you saw the tanks?
Saw the tank.
So you know the infantry's nearby?
Yeah.
Right. And when you saw those tanks, did the tanks, were we able to eliminate the tanks, or sometimes the tanks were able to?
Well, to answer your question, we were able to eliminate it, or we wouldn't have won the war, because they're powerful. The tanks are powerful, and if those tanks had gotten through our defense,
yeah,
and gone on to the oil fields where
yeah,
they could replenish what they needed in the tank, we'd still been fighting over there.
It's the 105 millimeter howitzers that are going after the tanks, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I've heard the howitzers, at an inauguration, they'll fire off the big guns. When a president's inaugurated, they go kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Is that the sound that those howitzers, those 105 millimeter howitzers would make? Kaboom, big noise?
Yeah.
Big noise.
They make a big noise.
And you hear a lot of that big noise, huh, when you're there?
Yeah.
How loud is it? How loud is everything when these
Well,
shells?
it depends on how close you are to it, but it's loud.
How about the shelling? Is the shelling loud? Is it is the action that's around you loud?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just like you see in the movies.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
How many thousand troops are we talking about? When you're dug in your foxhole, when you're Sam Dixon and you're dug there and you're seeing a tank, describe the battlefield. Who's to your left and to your right?
Well, in my case, see, I was in the mortars.
Yep.
I've got infantry to the left and to the right and in front of me.
Are they dug in as well?
Yeah, oh yeah.
They're dug in.
Yeah.
And is that hundreds of guys, hundreds of soldiers that are beside you?
Well, if there would be a division
mm-hmm.
protecting this area.
Mm-hmm.
A division can be with 14,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be just a regiment. A regiment's just a third of that.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is somewhere in the area there's the division headquarters, and the regimental teams, and they have to stick pretty close together or somebody's going to get wiped out.
About what time then, describe the continued advance after these incidents happen. This is in Gutenberg area of Belgium, and then you keep moving. You're either staying or you're moving.
Mm-hmm.
Whereabouts are you over these next 6 weeks between December and February?
Well, mostly we're trying to hold the area around where around Butenbach.
Butenbach, okay.
Our next objective is trying to retake the um, I'm trying to think of the fortress, the line, the Siegfried line.
Oh, the Siegfried line?
We're trying to retake the Siegfried line because we had it once, but the Battle of the Bulge, they retook it.
Okay.
So you're trying to do something there. You take that, and then there's someplace else. Mostly they're concentrating on the Roar Dams.
And so by February, are you moving more? Are you?
February, we're moving spread out
Okay.
and pushing the Germans back.
Are you walking? Are you physically walking?
Oh yeah, we walked all over Belgium,
Yeah.
France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the weather warm up for you?
Oh yeah, that's what changed the whole war in the Battle of the Bulge and in Belgium. The skies cleared up and the planes came out and weather got warmer, and so it was all in our favor when the weather changed. We could get the planes up there. That's one.
And what did the planes do?
Shoot, they strafed those tanks. They dropped bombs on those tanks. They strafed the infantry.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's one reason we won the war was because of all those planes.
You see them? They come right overhead.
Oh, they come down level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind were they? Do you remember?
Yeah, there'd be P-51s, there'd be P-38s. Yeah. Every once in a while we could see a dogfight. There'd be a Messerschmitt 109 up there. Yeah.
You were happy to see those airplanes come over.
Oh, yeah. Two things I was always happy to see or hear of was the Air Force and Patton. I like to hear about Patton because I knew the Germans were scared of Patton. So were some Americans.
Fear's not such a bad thing, right?
He's got those tanks moving, buddy.
You're now. You begin to move. You move into towards the Roar Dams, and it's a daily movement.
Yeah, it's actually after we've taken the Siegfried line and done some skirmishes up there, we're building up to cross the Roar River. So on February the 26th, we crossed the Roar River.
Now, how do you cross the river?
Well, they engineers build a bridge, a pontoon bridge, or some kind of bridge. They get you across, and you can't go until they get you across because there's no way to cross that river.
And like every day, do you dig a foxhole? Do you find a place? Where are you staying before you're able to cross the Roar River?
Well, you would dig a foxhole if you're going to be there a few days. If you're just going to be there half a day or half a night or sometimes, I don't think you would dig a foxhole. I think you'd find shelter somewhere, anywhere. But if you're going to be there quite a while, you got to dig in. Or it depends on where you are too. If you're going to be out there where they got a clear shot at you.
Yeah, you gotta watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cross the Roar. You crossed the Roar River.
Yeah, I was wounded right after crossing the Roar River.
What happened there?
Well, we crossed the Roar River.
Go ahead. Cross the Roar River.
And there was a farm. And our outfit took refuge in the farm. And there were some cries of help from the Haystacks out on the farmland. And I just told the officer or whoever was there, I was upstairs, and I told him I was going to see how bad it was and to help. And so I went out to the haystack. There's two soldiers there. One was hit in the head and one was, his arm was practically off. So we came back, I helped him get back to the house, to help to take them downstairs where most people were hiding out. And I told the officer, I said, it's bad out there. They have no protection. The only protection they have is Haystacks. And while I was talking to him, a German mortar shell went off at the front door.
Mm-hmm.
He caught me in the cheek. And I remember I grabbed my face and I said to myself, I'm hit in the face and that's bad. And then they took me downstairs. They loaded me and the other two guys on a Jeep,
Mm-hmm.
took us to a field hospital, operated on us.
Oh, yeah, in the field hospital, huh?
Oh yeah.
Where exactly were you hit in the face?
Right here,
Yeah.
right on the cheekbone. And I asked, and for 3 days, they didn't know that I had another wound. They didn't know what it, they just assumed that the shell fragment that hit me here then just bounced off. They didn't know that it went in my throat.
Oh.
So the captain came by me and I says, how come you're not eating? And I said, I told him, I said, I can't eat, I can hardly talk, I can't swallow. And I said, I'm hurting back here. So they took me back to x-ray, and next day, when I woke up, he showed me the shrapnel, about the size of a dime. He said, we took this out of your throat. And I said, well, how come it didn't break any teeth, or how come it's such a clean wound? And he said, when the shell fragment hits your cheekbone, your mouth flew open. When your mouth flew open, it went between your teeth down into your throat. Can you believe that?
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
It was an automatic reflex.
Yeah, it just, it hit there, your mouth flies open, it went down between my teeth. It didn't touch my tongue. Went down, and I have several nerves paralyzed in my throat. And I cough a lot, that's why I cough. Yeah.
You're obviously even luckier you didn't get hit in the eye. You didn't
Well,
lose
I
your
was
sight.
only half an inch, they told me, from a spinal cord. I could have been paralyzed for life. That's what the doctor told me.
With the one that went down your throat and in there, went in fast.
Yeah, I have these nerves paralyzed back here.
You wind up still being operated on in that field hospital, and then you're moved where? What happens then?
I moved to England, and then I was there a few days, and in England I was evacuated because by then the war was about over.
Okay.
So I was sent to McGuire General Hospital in Richmond, Virginia.
Now let me ask you, what day were you wounded?
February 26, 45.
Okay, and then sent to U.S. To Richmond. Now, how did you get back to Richmond?
I flew to McGuire, hospital in New York.
They flew you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
When you fly, where do they fly from? England?
Flew from Paris.
They flew from Paris, huh? So they evacuated. First of all, they went to the field hospital. This is in Belgium? No, they're Germany. The Ruhr dams.
Yeah, that would have been in Germany.
How'd they get you back to Paris?
I don't know.
You were hurting at that time.
Yeah, I was practically out of it. I would think they would fly me, because if they took me to Paris, no, I went back to England, because it was my second trip to England. I don't know.
And then from England, it was back to Richmond. You were flown home?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was given 90 days convalescence down in Fort Story, down in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And then in September the 26th, I was discharged, medical discharge, and I went home. They played a football game the next night. I dressed and played in it, threw a pass in the end zone for a touchdown when the kid dropped the ball.
You're kidding.
Yeah, that's documented.
Oh, so you went back to this is high school?
Yeah.
You went back to your high school?
Yes, for a year. Played football and basketball.
All right, so here we go. So at that time, you were what, 19 years old?
Yeah.
You're 19. So you go back to the U.S., you go to Richmond, to a hospital in Richmond, and you just recuperate there. Do they give you therapy? Do they help you?
No, they tended to me, whatever they had to do. And I was there, I don't know how long. But then they sent me to Fort Story Convalescent Hospital.
What happens in a convalescent hospital?
Walk the beach, exercise, nothing much.
Just
get
recovery
better.
from your wounds.
Yeah.
It's just a peaceful time.
Yeah.
A little more of a peaceful time.
Yeah.
Are you seeing your family at this time?
No.
Oh no. Do they know you're there?
Huh?
They know you're there? They know you're at
Oh
Fort
yeah, they
Story?
knew I was there.
They knew
In
you were
fact,
okay?
my girlfriend from Georgia
Mhm.
came up to visit me, but I was in the hospital. I hadn't been discharged. I thought I was going to be discharged. So she was at my house, and I was in Fort Story Convalescent Hospital.
And give this to me again. You were discharged at what point? You were discharged from the hospital, perhaps?
I was discharged from the hospital on the 27th of September,
Uh-huh.
and I went home, and I played in a football game that night, or the next night.
That's unbelievable. And you threw a pass?
Threw a pass in the end zone, which was dropped.
Did you win the game?
Yeah. They won the game.
You returned to the high school. Tell me, this is great. Tell me again about the remainder of your subsequent. We have a little bit of time, another 10 minutes. We'll close up. You finished that off, and then you did what after high school? You went back to high school.
I went back to high school for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Went to a junior college one summer
Mm-hmm.
and took geometry and English.
Mm-hmm.
I took the GED test
Mm-hmm.
and went to Hampton Sydney College in Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I transferred to Emory and Henry College in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated in 1950.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a high school diploma, but I do have a BA from a college and an MA from East Tennessee State University.
You went back to high school, but you didn't get your diploma there. What happened?
Well, I still needed more credits.
God, you've been gone so long.
Yeah, I needed more credits, and so I took the GED test. This Reverend Philip Roberts got me in Hampton Sydney College.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were you found at all to be disabled because of your wounds? Did you get any kind of a disability because of your
Yeah, I'm
wounds?
50% disabled.
So 50% disabled, but he's throwing a touchdown pass, the almost touchdown pass, huh?
That's right.
That you got 50% disability. God bless you. That's fabulous. And then you had a successful career as a high school teacher and a coach.
Yes.
And what did you teach? What was your subject there?
Phys ed.
Taught phys ed, and you coached what sports?
Football and basketball.
And you coached at schools where?
Virginia and Maryland.
Mm-hmm. And I know you told me earlier you coached at progressively larger high schools. I think you returned back to your area where you grew up to begin your coaching career, didn't you?
Yeah, I started back there, but then I went further away.
You went further away.
Yeah.
And you eventually coached at George Washington High School in Alexandria,
Yes.
Virginia.
Yes.
And then later in Lansdowne, Maryland.
Maryland. Yeah.
Was that where you ended your coaching career?
Yes.
That's really good. You had a successful life as a teacher and a coach.
Very much so.
Your experiences in the war, Sam. Do you have any thoughts about how it shaped your life?
Oh, I give the war all the credit for my life. The war educated me.
Mm-hmm.
The war has compensated me probably $1,000 a month
Mm-hmm.
for 65 years. I guess that's the main thing. It gave me the education and compensation.
Mm-hmm.
And I get being 50% disabled, I get my medicine free. I get free medical treatment at the VA. Can't beat what the results.
You recently had an event here in your honor in January of 2009. You want to tell a little bit about that?
Well, I live in a golf and tennis country club,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a lot of friends here. And one of those friends engineered a tribute to Sam Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
As a surprise to me, I thought I was going to his birthday party. And I go into this building and this room, and there's 212 people giving me a standing ovation. And then there's, after a lot of planning and practice, different people doing different things to commemorate my wartime service, like singing songs or talking about what happened and so forth. And I got to put it down as one of the greatest things that ever happened to me.
There's a photo of you on the wall over here. I'm gonna take a look at here. Describe this.
Well, it says Sam Dixon, American hero, and coach, neighbor, friend, we love you, and it has about 200 signatures and messages, and it cost me a fortune to get it preserved and framed.
It's very nice. You know, it's very nice. Sam, you didn't return to Normandy for a long time, and I think you hadn't really stayed in touch with the 1st Infantry Division for a while. Can you describe that a little bit? Did you eventually got back in touch with your unit?
Yeah, well, the 1st Infantry Division has yearly reunions,
Mm-hmm.
and going attending these for the last 4 or 5 years, I have renewed and made positive friends, and there's 7 guys
Mm-hmm.
that landed together on DDay. Then we didn't know each other, but we were all 7 were there. But now we make up for what we missed by annual visits and Christmas cards and things like that.
You've been back to Normandy how many times?
Been back 3 times.
And your most recent was a trip I was on with you. That was this past June, which was the 65th anniversary of D-Day.
Right.
And a nice experience for you?
One of the highlights was I was with people that I'll say that will be friends forever. And it was a great experience, and you can't believe the reception that the French people, the Normandy people give you. And that's something I'll always remember.
Well, thank you for sharing your wartime experiences with us. And I know that the Veterans History Project will be delighted to have this in their files.